Welcome everybody, le bienvenue, ahlan wa sahlan. Today's topic is Arabs and why we aren't that exotic. Why we aren't as mysterious as pop culture is trying to make us out to be. Arabian Night! And then they're clapping. Hey ma, look at this, we got us an Arab. Yeah, what's your name? Ali? Ali? No, it's just Ali. Just Ali is fine. Yep. Ow. I found a really cool report on basically why Arabs and Muslims aren't exotic and how pop culture is just trying their best to force this narrative of mysticism and whatnot. And like, hey, I mean, it does work in some situations. I don't mind it. There's some music videos. There's belly dancing is a very mystical and sort of like mysterious art and performance. I get it with the face covered, but the hips showing and the boof ta-ka-ta. I get it, guys. Totally. Absolutely.
These is red bottoms. These is bloody shoes. Yeah, I butchered that.
That was cringy. These is red bottoms. These is bloody shoes. Yeah, so that's from the Cardi B music video for sure. I think she was riding a camel in that one. But she was wearing the Louboutins also. And not very typical of desert wear, desert attire. But still, it was a rap video.
Probably heard Cardi B's hit song Bodak Yellow. And like basically everyone else, I couldn't get enough of it. That is until Cardi B released the music video.
These expensive, these is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes.
Did y'all see that? Why is she wearing a hijab with a veil over her face in the middle of the desert? Bodak Yellow shows how music, television, and film still paint Arabs and Muslims in a highly exoticized light. And it's just one example of how Orientalism is pretty much everywhere in our pop culture.
Yeah.
Think of Aladdin, think of Homeland, or Sacha Baron Cohen's entire career.
I made that up.
Yeah, I mean, The Dictator was actually... I thought it was really funny just from a satirical point of view as an Arab because I love that dry satirical humor. And to say that these dictators are not full of themselves and lead these like crazy lives of palaces and, you know, just complete lack of self-awareness, would be a lie. And so, yeah, I get it, but he's right. There has been a huge wave of, did he call it Orientalism or whatnot? But a huge wave of the Arabic culture kind of infiltrating its way. Actually, I'm seeing more and more Arabic tattoos coming up now of non-Arabs getting Arabic tattoos. And it's like, oh my God. Researching an Arabic tattoo, you have to run it by at least like 5 different Arabs and they're gonna tell you 5 different things. It's like French. Everybody has their own version of it. One small line can completely change the meaning. Just like Asian tattoos when they were super trendy as well.
Hi guys, I'm Omar, and this Sunday on Age of Us, we're breaking down the concept of Orientalism.
Orientalism.
Where it comes from and why it's a problem. And just know, I'm definitely going to ruin some of your childhood favorites.
No, I mean, when growing up, I was like my childhood favorite. Obviously, what was the one Disney movie that we can all relate to, guys? Yeah, exactly. You're right. Prince Ali, Ali, Ali Ababa. I mean, come on, like really? I was told that at least 1,000,000 times growing up, where it was like, oh, Ali Baba, or like Prince Ali, and I'd be like, huh, man, really? Did you just come up with that all by yourself? Can you do better? So this is Arabs and Muslims. They seem to be putting the two together because, as we know, there's a huge cultural influence from Islam that was passed on to the Arab world, which is very prevalent today.
I can show you the world.
Hey, my man.
Historically, Orientalism refers to the study of the Arab and Muslim world, or what was for a long time referred to as the Orient, which included more than just Arab or predominant Muslim societies. And the discipline basically looked at those societies as though they were interchangeable, inferior, and well, mystical and savage. Just the fact we say there's an Arab or Muslim world is proof of how pervasive that way of thinking was and is.
Fanaticism, violence, etc., always associated with the Arabs, with Islam, so on and so forth. Arabs are always being killed, they're always associated publicly in the public mind, public image, with what is negative and regressive.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I remember Saeed's book, and I remember saying to myself, well, this is just gonna happen in waves, right? Like, who sets mainstream pop culture for the world to consume? It's America, right? Like, they run the show, whether it's the music industry, the Hollywood, the cinema, the film industry, fashion industry. I mean, of course, there's Europe that's pretty much all the way up there too, but America is basically a pop culture giant. And, it started off with the Nazis and the Japanese. And then it moved over to the Soviets, the Russians, the communists. And then it was the Arabs, the Muslims. It was their turn. And now that chapter seems to be nearing its end, hopefully. And now what? It's going to be, I guess, if I had to guess, who's the next boogeyman? The Chinese? I don't know. Probably.
He called his book Orientalism, and it forever changed the way we think of Western depictions of the Arab and Muslim world. Saeed also said Orientalism relies on letting Westerners interact with the Orient without ever losing the upper hand. Basically, it's about power. The concept of Orientalism isn't just that there are issues with this painting or that novel, it's that this painting or that novel both create and perpetuate inaccurate portrayals of Muslims and Arabs. It dehumanizes anyone who falls into those groups and supports dangerous policies. And these stereotypes bring me back to Aladdin. The late Arab-American academic Jack Shaheen identified the Orientalist themes and tropes in Aladdin. After its 1992 debut, Shaheen campaigned to make Disney alter the opening song, Arabian Night.
Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home.
Whoa! I don't even remember that line. What? That's crazy. Where they cut off your ear if they don't like your face. It's barbaric, but hey, it's home? Woo! That one completely slipped by me. Oh my god, I didn't even realize that.
Seriously, he just referred to a made-up Arab land as barbaric and put it to a children's beat.
Agrabah.
Shaheen responded in the LA Times, and he said it was a painful reminder to 3 million Americans of Arab heritage, as well as 300 million Arabs and others, that the abhorrent Arab stereotype is as ubiquitous as Aladdin's lamp.
Oh man, so now I have to hate Aladdin? Am I supposed to protest Aladdin? But it was such a amazing movie growing up. I don't know. I mean, we were gonna dress up as Aladdin, and my wife was gonna be Jasmine, and we have our son. He was gonna be Abu. He's literally this big.
With the negative portrayal of Agrabah serving as what he called Hollywood's fabricated Arab land. Well, he may be right. In 2015, as the US bombed ISIS in Iraq and Syria, a poll found that 30% of Republican voters would support bombing Agrabah. And before you agree, Agrabah is the fictional country in Aladdin. It's not real. Other activist groups criticize the film's character portrayal.
That's
of
crazy.
Aladdin and Jasmine having anglicized features and American accents.
You're not free to make your own choices.
Sometimes you feel so
You're just
trapped.
And the rest have really fake Arabic accents and far less attractive physical features.
Oh, that's interesting too. I never realized that. Wow. My whole childhood is being destroyed right now. I never realized that. But they were the protagonists. They were the heroes, I guess. And this was a movie that they were, I guess, trying to make succeed in the West, right? So they were making the protagonists, the main characters, more relatable. And at that time, I mean, what are you talking, the early mid-90s? What if Jasmine and Aladdin had thick Arabic accents? Would it have been as successful? Same thing with Genie. That was Robin Williams, rest in peace. I mean, we can look at it the other way too, in terms of when we looked at Jasmine, never saw her as submissive. Actually, she was quite powerful. She had her father's ear. The Sultan, who lost his wife, who was very depressed and continuously anxious because of that. You can see how Aladdin was very much at her service, at her mercy, kind of empowering energy. So I kind of got both vibes from it, but you can definitely argue both, but I see where they're coming from here.
You might say Aladdin is old news. Why bring it up at all? Well, it's coming back as a live-action feature, and it doesn't seem like much has changed at all. The movie's already been accused of whitewashing the story with the creation of white characters like Prince Anders.
If you're going to spend a lot of money on it, you can't really do anything real. It has to be imaginative, it has to play to fantasy, it therefore has to rely on stereotypes.
Orientalist imagery has also managed to creep onto the small screen.
Yeah, I watched the new Aladdin, and I definitely saw those same elements in it. But it was also just like a nostalgic flashback. Like I didn't think too much into it either, and it just seemed like a refreshed, remastered version of the old one. And I walked out just feeling nostalgic. That's it. I didn't feel offended. I didn't feel targeted. I don't know. Maybe it never affected me that much because we were around the truth. We grew up under the truth our entire lives, and we knew that this depiction did not reflect reality. But let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your thoughts about that. And unfortunately, we're not as mysterious as pop culture wants us to be, nor are we that exotic. We're just regular people, good and bad. But of course, we're all zihou.